or they're just going to feed us whole hog into authoritarianism?
Yes, that's what they're going to do. Look, the only reason that Bernie Madoff took the hit was he screwed the wrong people. He got the very, very rich, the very, very connected, the big names. He got a big chunk of them. You got a guy like John the Slime Corzine. He gets guys like me. And I was one of the bigger names that kept this thing in the media. But who did he hit? He hit a bunch of smaller commodities.
A bunch of farmers that were hedging their bet.
Exactly. That's why they go free. Bernie screwed with the wrong people. So he paid the dues. So no, and look, what are they going to do to us? Just like they're doing up in Montreal with that Bill 78, where you have no more freedom to demonstrate anymore. And I have to hand it to the students. They're not giving up. They keep going out. What happened to the Occupy movements in this country? I thought they'd keep going.
Hey, at least we took action with Bilderberg. They were very angry that we were bullhorning
You got it, and you kept that in the news. You did it single-handedly with the supporters behind you. Now, let's play this one back. All of a sudden, Alex Jones says, you know, I don't like the Bilderbergs, but, you know, the Council on Foreign Affairs, they're okay. What would your fans think about you?
They would turn against me in a minute. And what if Ron Paul had been out leading things like that? There'd have been hundreds of thousands or millions, not a few thousand over the few days. And absolutely, I mean, I got to say, it's the playing possum the last few months and making nice in the debates with Romney. People said the fix was in 6 months ago, and I got to say it is. And whoever convinced the Pauls to do this are political idiots, and you ought to fire their ass or take credit for it.
You have to take Nobody puts a gun to your head. Not a man. A man doesn't do those things. They stick by their principles. They stick by their word. That's what makes a man a man. Nobody can make me do anything. I can't be bought out, sold off, threatened. Yeah, if they come and put a gun to my head, I'll say I'm getting out of here. But other than that, no, nobody can make me say anything or do anything.
I agree, but
you, as I said, you becoming a member of the Council on Foreign Affairs is the equivalent of Ron Paul supporting Romney. You would lose all your credibility, all
Exactly. Even if I wanted to sell out, which I wouldn't, I'm political, savvy enough, and I'm not even that smart, to know that's suicide. What the hell are they thinking?
What they've done is they've killed the freedom movement. And that's what this movement was about. And that's what everybody put their necks on the lines and their feet on the ground for. And you were talking about they have the military in place, as you well know, with the signing of the National Defense Authorization Act. It also repealed the Posse Comitatus Act of 1878, which now allows the military to come and occupy any city, village, state, you name it.
Sure, Gerald, but just to interrupt you, I mean, I just want to be clear here, though. I mean, I think they really hurt the freedom movement with Ron Paul's name on it. And I agree with you, they shouldn't throw somebody under the bus, an advisor, but they should come out and say how this thought process happened. They should clarify it, or they're going to destroy themselves. But I don't think the freedom movement's dead. It's still growing because folks are upset. But I do think it's a serious blow.
Well, no, I agree. No, it's going on. It's big. But Ron Paul was the titular head. He was the one that articulated it. He was the one that brought it into the public. Look, I learned a lot from Ron Paul. I have to tell you, I did not know that the Federal Reserve was a private operation, criminal operation, until I learned it from Ron Paul many years ago. Ron Paul opened my eyes up to a lot of things.
And that's what makes us so sad is he's so good.
That's what I'm saying.
It's like a family member. It's horrible. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, so going back on the economic front, it's very important, again, to watch how this unfolds over in Europe. It's also important, I urge everyone to spend a few minutes a day. And by the way, go to your site. Your site's one of my first hits in the morning. The information you're putting up there, you can't find most any place else. But also, I'm urging everyone to tune into the Chinese news.
Yes.
It's the best propaganda outlet out there to really hear what's going on in China. It's almost comic book quality, but they really let you know about what they're thinking. And more importantly, they're covering issues around the world and putting film crews in places that you don't see, along with Russia Today. But one other, and people are going to flip out when I say this, but just hear me out. The World Socialist website, WSWS, they have the most accurate reporting of any of the major issues, from drone attacks to economy, of anyone out there that I read. And I read a lot. I don't go along with the end of it where at the end of almost every one of them, if the workers of the world were in charge, everything would be okay. You know me, I'm a political atheist, so I don't buy into what the politics are. But so what I'm saying to everyone now is that the world is collapsing financially. The systems are breaking apart geopolitically. We're ready for a climax. Stay tuned, because we're going into the summer. And that's the point I wanted to make. We're going into a vacation state of mind when people are out of tune with what's going on. This is an important time to tune in nightly to sites like yours, to sites like mine, and these other sites that I mentioned.
With different perspectives, I agree. This is a critical time. The historians say that more happens in a decade. Sometimes it happens in the last 100. We're entering a time of incredible change. Speaking of sites, there's 2 URLs that bring us there, but what's the best one to visit to find your site?
Oh, Trends Journal, trendsjournal.com. And by the way, Alex, you know, I do Trends in the News videos every day. And so we keep the people right up like what you're doing, but you know, hours for our subscribers as well. So you know, we're on top of the news and ahead of the trends.
Well, you certainly are, and we always appreciate your time, Gerald Celente. Hopefully, we don't let them pass all these internet censorship bills. But like you said, they ban free speech in Canada in one state or province. People come out anyways. You know, they may say government's God tomorrow. They may say we don't have speech. You know what? I am going to continue speaking, and it's always darkest before the dawn. They've got to show us how tyrannical they are before we fully wake up, and that awakening is happening. Closing comment.
Yes, one thing also, our fine illustrator, Anthony Frida, just won a national award. 4 out of 5 of the awards were given to him for the illustrations in the Trends Journal. So we're very pleased with that. And on another note, about me putting my mind and my money where my mouth and heart are, I just bought a piece of property, a stone building, a 1750 stone building on the most historic corner in the United States, right here in Kingston, the only place on each corner where there's a pre-revolutionary stone house. I bought one of them. This is where the first American Revolution began. And I'm starting the second, doing my part, as you are, to start the second. An intellectual revolution, one of minds and brains, not bullets and bombs. And anyone could Google it up. It's called the Franz, F-R-A-N-Z, Rogan, R-O-G-G-E-N, the Franz Rogan House. I came back from Berlin, and I've told you that I've been haunted by that visit, to see this grand nation of the Germans, the people of Goethe, Einstein, Bach, Beethoven, Wagner, be taken down by a 2-bit freak. And I came back here and I said, I'm not going to be taken down by these 2-bit freaks. And so I decided on the spot, there was a sign for sale, and I came back and I bought it, and I closed on it within a month. That's how much I believe in this country. That's how much I believe in the people that have in their heart the freedom and liberty to live as free people and not under a dictatorship as we're living now. So that's my latest news.
Wow, beautifully said, Gerald. And I think what you just imparted to us is you're all in. Instead of running like so many people are doing, you're going to stand and fight. This is our country. It doesn't belong to the criminal banksters. They're not invincible, and you're all in, and I can see tears in your eyes, and I'm all in too. Let's commit together to fight as long and hard as we can to restore this republic. We can't run. If we run, people say, oh, Alex, I'm intimidated. They admit they're listening to us because they're criminals. You know what? They're doing that. That's an indictment, a confession by the government they're doing that. A confession that they're illegitimate. It doesn't scare me. We're the good guys. We stand for what this country was founded on and the light of the world. We become this mountain of authoritarian crap. And it's so good to see you saying, I'm committed, I'm staying, and that's it, because that's where the power is at. It's never selling out, never compromising, and it's good to know you're there, Gerald.
Well, it's good to know you're there. And everyone, I urge everyone to find their dignity, their courage, their respect, and their integrity, and their passione, their passion, not to take crap from these people. There are many, 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 many more of us than them. And if we stand united, we will defeat them. They are only a small minority of sociopaths and psychopaths, just like that little freak Hitler, just like that little freak Mussolini, and just like all these freaks on the presidential reality show. Don't let a freak rule you. Find your courage. I want to leave this earth knowing that I'm the person who I said I was and did what I said I would do.
Wow, very well said. And that's what's sad about this move by Paul. I mean, the integrity, and then to just see it. I mean, they better explain this was a mistake or misinterpreted now. If they don't, they're going to destroy themselves. Gerald Celente, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Wow, well, that's probably some of the most powerful TV we've ever done, and that's what it's all about. I've had to have those discussions with my wife, who's very smart and lived around the world. She lived in Italy, Spain, and France as the child of a diplomat growing up, saw a lot of stuff, and she's like, this is tyranny. We got to get out of here. And I've explained to her there's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to run. We cannot have the spirit. Of course, she's got a lot of courage. She gets the death threats. And they call up and tell her, we just heard what you were talking about to your mom. We're going to cut your head off. I mean, that's who runs this government. They're wiretapping us, and they call my wife and threaten her. I mean, this is real, folks. This is real evil. And to watch these cowards in government that Gerald was talking about in closing, and I'm going to say bye to you after the show, Gerald, to watch these cowards sit there and use our military and our police and turn them against us to carry out this tyranny, it is the ultimate abomination. I'll see you back this Sunday, 4 to 6 p.m., Lord willing, Central Standard Time at INFOWARS.com, and back on Monday, 11 a.m. Central on the radio show. Great job to the crew. Get my message to Ron Paul out to him. By the time you see this on television, we're going to be posting it at YouTube and at INFOWARS.com. Let's bring the message of liberty back to Ron Paul and his son, the Senator Rand Paul. I'm Alex Jones, signing off.